Run now. Run. Make haste. For life is for the living. You need to do your job. Right? It's like your job is constant suffering. And stop being a blob. Yeah, sure, I have emotions. But also, there is strength. Sure, this life is straining. But then, right, it's like again and again. You need to make an effort. How do they say? You need to pay your dues. To get the life you wanted, you have to stop with this abuse. You really have to struggle. And suffer we must all. Right? The challenge is to suffer with style. I mean, all I can say to you at this stage, at the, seemingly age of 35 or whatever, that in order to do art, I have to suffer. In order to do anything, I have to suffer. And the perspective I have worked hard to get is that, energy is flowing. And we say it's suffering. Well, I am a river. And through me is streaming some kind of thing that we call love. I don't say blood. But, your blood is supposed to be hot. You're supposed to be like a volcano that is always about to erupt. But instead of, let's say jerking off, you're supposed to erupt into creation. I mean, a volcano is the phoenix. You're the phoenix if you want to spark your fire. But in order to spark your fire, you have to figure out your diet and your habits. Right? Nobody says that you can never smoke, but you should know how it is without smoking, so that you can know when to do what. So if you always eat sugar, you forget how it used to be without the sugar. And this is where we come to things like fasting. You know all your life you're basically a sugar addict. So give it a month, give it 8 weeks. And say, in this time I will not eat sugar. And after that, you'll just see, right? You'll just see. Because there's no point in demonizing anything. You can just not have sex for 4 years and say, I'm going to look for a woman, and then I'm going to choose her. But until then, I will test myself, I will hone my abilities, I will ask myself what it means to be a man, and how I need to be in order to be the father that I would have liked to have. Right? But I cannot be like, I'm not supposed to be the best buddy of my children. I'm supposed to be the father. Which is why masculinity and femininity are both supposed to be a symbol for stability. Which is why yoga has nothing to do with tight pants, right? Because if you were tight, you wouldn't need tight pants. You get it? They're just mimicking it. They understood nothing. You know, yoga is knowing a world of extremes and then trying to find the middle in this. You know, I know hot, I know cold. Right? I can carry my heat into the cold. I can carry my light into the darkness. But I can also carry or bring darkness into the light. Because life happens if you bring both of them together. Right? That's how it is. You know, duality is the perspective where you say it's, you know, everything has two sides or something. And by splitting it apart, life happens. You know, that's the atom bomb. That's the atom bomb. And you have to deal with it. Because if you were just light, or if you were only darkness, nobody would see you again. So in a way, yeah, you have to be both. And that's mad. But it's possible. I'm living it. And it's happening anyway. And in that you have a certain degree of freedom. But there are things you will never be able to do again. You know, I'm just saying, you have to stop masturbating, my friend. And in order to do that, you have to learn to channel energy in things that actually last. So that one day you may have children. So learn to crochet. Learn anything you want. Learn pottery. Learn any craft you like. Work. You need to work with your hands. You need to work with your hands. I just had to check how long this recording is already. It's 7 minutes. You have to train. I have played frisbee with children in a park. I mean, there's a local park here. I sometimes go there. And sometimes there are parents and they let their child come to me because I engage with children on a completely different level. And I play very gentle, but I also test, right? I can pull anyone out of their zone because I know how to pull myself out of my zone. And then I wait. You know, I don't run after anyone. You know, sometimes people just come to me. That's all I can say, right? And then I have to react. And if a child asks me to play frisbee and the parents are watching, I'm just gonna play frisbee. And then I'm gonna test the child. I'm gonna throw very gentle. And what I have seen is that any child that I have played with that comes out of this system, okay, it also depends on the parents, of course, but the school, you know, many children drown. And they cannot even, you know, they're completely blocked. Their shoulders are blocked from all the sitting. Their hands have no strength. They cannot really grab anything. And so the first thing they learn when I play frisbee and I throw it very gentle, you know, I know how to throw the frisbee in all kinds of ways. They learn focus, attention, being in the moment, and then grabbing. And suddenly they realize, wow, their shoulders start to ache. But they start to move. I've seen children that suddenly started dancing. I mean, this is like therapy. But first you have to do that to yourself. You have to do therapy to yourself. You have to be stable. No matter what you do, you cannot get angry. You cannot have outbursts. You cannot chide the child. You know, the child comes to you and then it puts in effort. Because I put in the effort. When a child throws the frisbee or anyone, you know, I give it my all. I run after the frisbee. And I've been doing this for years. I started here where I am in 2018. And people kind of just observed me. And then it's just, things started happening. I don't know. really what I'm supposed to do, but my feeling tells me sometimes to do certain things, and then I do them. And what I know is that I want children to lead a good life, to know this is how you could be like. So I go to public places and I slackline, just to show people that there is a different way of life. I make advertisement for conscious living, for focus exercises. To me, this is a focus exercise. I focus on the moment, I flow into what I'm saying, but I also have a ton of experiences that I've made in the past couple of years. And this is what sparks all my art. This is what sparks my poetry. Every creation needs time. So I'm working on a book. I've been working on this book 1 year in my mind already. And then when I feel suddenly I'm being pushed to start, usually I don't want to do it and suddenly I start. I've been writing all my recent books on the laptop and suddenly it's like, okay, you just have to take paper and just write it with your hand because you're sick of the laptop. It takes too much time, it takes too much energy. You want to use your hands, you want to write. You want to smell the paper, you want to stain your hands with ink, you want to get in there. And then you learn, right? You learn patience. And then you'll know how to be with a woman in the end. It's like Faramir and Eowyn. The finesse, the emotional capacity Faramir needed to see that there is a woman that needs healing. And then to persist in his folly of loving her, right? Because he knew he could. You cannot love every woman. You have to really feel it. And I'm already devoted, right? I just fell in love. But, she needs time. So sometimes a man has to be patient. And then he has to accept that there is no guarantee for anything. All you can do is just live, continue, and then see, what's gonna happen in the end. Just checking the time. Okay, 13 minutes, right? It's like, yeah, I have to check the time. So I cannot just do whatever I want all the time. There are things that I simply have to do. Like sometimes I just have to clean my apartment. I just made myself a table. I crafted a table, DIY, and the wood I picked from the forest, it has some kind of bug in it, and now I have to get rid of it. Not of the table, but of the infested pieces, right? The thing, the stuff is red, it's like the legs, right? I have to, and this is really annoying. And now I'm just going to turn off this recording. I just wanted to speak my mind because, my podcast is already recorded until 2025. So I'm, I'm used to talking all the time. And just silent, I love podcasting. But for now I'm doing this. And this is also really hard work. And now I'm going to hit stop because, these reels cannot be longer than 15 minutes. Thank God. Otherwise I'd just be podcasting again.